What up everybody, this is Brazz. Sorry for the long wait for this video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Horde of Corruption faction and all its races. So for the video of Alliance of Light, I just did a quick overview. I didn't read all the text that I wrote. For this one I think we're gonna take a little bit of our time and we're gonna read through all this. The Horde of Corruption is eternal. During the first millennium, a race known as Hellish declared a war against the mightiest army of the gods of corruption. The god who accepted the challenge was named Silkalek. Gods of corruption were always looking for new ways to test and destroy new race from the galaxy, or if they were worthy fighters, they would make them join the Horde as servant. And so Silkalek took 600 years to test in multiple ways the Hellish armies. The Horde of Corruption at the beginning of their conquest was not made out of an army with soldiers, but rather an army of ghosts and orbs without shapes that kills and steals the soul of anything that they can lay their hands on. This army could not be attacked with normal weapons, but rather magic and incantation. After 200 years of testing the force of the Hellish fighters, he had to see them in action against equal force in a real war scenario. And so Silkalek corrupted one of the war chiefs and divided in half the strength of the Hellish force. A war against what was once your own people is very demoralizing. But Silkalek was so happy with the result that he left this fight go on for 400 years before starting to move toward the Hellish home planet. The god of corruption has made his choice. He wants to make the Hellish his main attacking race so he can put the Spectralist army back to sleep, as they are not meant to conquer but rather defend against any invading force on his homeland, the corrupted void. Before the extermination of their own planet, the Hellish Lord Balzas accepted to surrender to save his race from extinction. Silkalek promised them an eternal reason to fight by conquering all galaxies if they would join the Horde of Corruption. With no other choice, they did. In the year 1032, the Horde has found a race not only with an infinite thirst for battle, but also an expert in crafting melee weapons. The Death Orc was the most savage race they have encountered since the beginning of their galactic conquest. They excel at fighting in heavy heat condition, and they have left all planets attacked into balls of sands. Lord Balzas of the Hellish sent 3 elite squads of Darklock and Assassin on an infiltration mission into the Ark main camp. They had to corrupt the mind of all the leaders in order to make them see the true power that the Horde could bring them. In a matter of weeks, the 3 main leaders of the Death Orc, Gultar, Gulzas, and Guarla, lost all intention and wanted to join the Horde of Corruption willingly. In the year 1988, the Horde of Corruption was fighting in the galaxy named Yason. They discovered a race called the Zagnet. They specialize in aircraft and had the potential to make new technological advancement for the Horde. But the Zagnet didn't want to join the Horde of Corruption and fought for centuries against them. After losing multiple solar systems and having their own planet discovered, Zagnara, the mother of the Zagnet army, decided and agreed to join the Horde of Corruption and to fight side by side with the Hellish and the Death Orc to prevent a race from getting exterminated. It was only in the years 2420 that the screamiac was needed to be created to eradicate a planet with a small Terran colony. A sanctuary of light was built by the Terran race that was slowly getting bigger. This sanctuary of light was blocking any attempt of orbital strike from the Horde of Corruption. They had to unleash hell by sending their armies and taking control of all the region on the planet by brute force until they have located this sanctuary and destroyed it. The Horde was happy with all this fighting. They could finally unleash their rage of fire upon those so-called Terran, but the gods of corruption was not happy. Silkalek did not want to wait for a war of 2 to 3 weeks for each planet they would find this new cult on, and he had a feeling it would not be the only planet that the Terran has colonized. The god of corruption created a 4th race made out of dead bodies of Terrans to help his Horde in the future of their conquests. He called them the Screamiac. Created only to serve, build, and kill for the Horde, the first screamiac was made from a Terran general body named Adam Mears. When he got resurrected, his new giving name and chosen by Silkalek himself, was Kalomi. He was considered as a son of the god of corruption and the war chief of the screamiac race. The taking over of the planet was done within 1 week, and all the Terran colonies on the planet were wiped out of existence. The screamiac race is the most gruesome race to join the horde of corruption. So that was a quick overview of the faction. Now let's go check out all the races. The Hellish. Background and religion. Being one of the most ancient race and loved by all throughout many universes and considered to be the best evolution in body genetic, the Hellish race challenged the god of corruption Silkelect and failed. Facing extinction, they had no choice but to join the horde of corruption. Once the next step in evolution, now only a shell of what they used to be, they have been renamed the Hellish for the price of failing the god of corruption challenge. They are the first slave army to join the horde of corruption, born in an egg with a body around 4 to 5 feet. They will keep growing until they reach 9 feet or more, looking less like an Elisk and more as an animal on 2 legs without skin due to the corruption that was now fully incorporated in their body genetic. They are the master race of Silkelect's armies. Only in the fire of corruption life can be embraced. Lord Balzas. Military ranking system. Lord Balzas told his army that the only way to achieve the general rank in the Hellish race is to be on the top 10 souls 5 times in the war contribution ranking list when the world conquest ends. Every bloodline is a clan that works and stay together. They have a very complex system of hierarchy based upon how many ages a bloodline has been serving the Hellish force and how many times a clan has successfully driven an operation to victory. The Hellish race has a total of 23,976 generals at their disposal, making them the army with the most generals. Specialization and weaknesses. Being the tallest and the most intelligent creature of multiple universes can be an advantage when you are a beast made only to conquer. With no weaknesses known, the Hellish are unstoppable with explosive item and corruption spells. They have the deadliest list of armored vehicle at their disposal. Armors and weapon type. 85% of the Hellish race have a permanent platinum armor bolt on their body after birth, making them always prepared for an attack even on low supply situation. Masters of any two-handed weapon, they prefer to hunt with skulls, mace, heavy guns, staffs, and books. So everything that I just said is on the website right now. You can see some artwork, but sadly the timeline is not there yet. So right now I'm currently working on all the timelines for all these races. Let's continue on with the Deathorc. The Deathorc. Background and religion. With 5 centuries lost and a culture based only on strength and an infinite thirst for blood, the Orc accepted the Horde's invitation for more power and a supposed mystical proposition to see and discover what happened to their race during their lost centuries. The Hellish race showed them their true destiny, written for them inside the Deathnet. Now knowing about their past, the Deathorc praised all gods of corruption until they found their creator. Military ranking system. Strength and war contribution point was their main guideline for the military ranking system. Recently, they have adapted the Horde of Corruption ranking system but kept some original names to please their creator. Having the ability to withstand natural heat like in desert or lava area is great, but can also play a disadvantage in opposite situations. After losing their technology history, they had to rework and learn new crafting methods often. Now that they have their knowledge of their century back, they are an unstoppable forces when it comes down to the speed of crafting. Armors and weapon type. Born on the battlefield, the Deathorc skin is already hard as an armor, preferring to wear Melnox, one of the most dangerous type of armor, a shield made with spikes and horn of their dead prey. They excel with any two-handed weapon, like battle axe or dual axes. Elemental staff, they are expert with any field artillery equipment, and they have the fastest utility vehicle of the Horde, making them the most aggressive race when it comes down to rushing a town. We're gonna continue on with the zagnet. The zagnet. Background and religion. For more than 3,000 years, Queen Zagnara and her three brothers invaded and took over 20 solar systems, but they quickly lost all control and had their home planet discovered when the Horde of Corruption came crossing their path. Now just another slave army serving the Horde, the zagnet race usually only lived to please their mother and never had any gods to pray on. It took time for them to accept the gods of corruption religion, but they are now fully embracing the fire of corruption. Military ranking system. Being equal and having no rank system made them weaker in the eyes of the other race, and had no choice but to adapt the system created by the Horde. Queen Zagnara followed the Horde hierarchy ways and built multiple clans with high numbers of general in each one, showing the Horde they were also a race of intelligence and they could use tactics on battlefields. She selected the top 100 souls in her army to make a clan that would protect her during infiltration operation. Those souls were chosen based on contribution points and how many times a soul has survived on the frontline region without dying. Specialization and weaknesses. Their ability to run faster than any other race in the Horde and to hide underground is making them the deadliest force when it comes to ambush situations. Specializing in all aircraft types, they excel at invading territories from the place least expected. Armors and weapon type. With a body that can weigh around 280 to 1240 and wearing platinum armor that covers their 6 running legs and their 4 hands, the normal size of a zagnet can range between 4 feet to 9 feet. They prefer to kill their prey with a long web spears or a heavy guns. They are especially good in any close quarter situation. Their fluidity and speed with one-handed weapons makes them one of the deadliest race that the Alliance has encountered. Let's follow up with the screamiac. The screamiac. Background and religion. The god Silkolekt performed a ritual by unleashing a parasite on a dying Terran general to create a fourth race named the screamiac. This ancient parasite is highly contagious against any wanted target. Any bearer of this parasite will undergo multiple mutations and have their body slowly overtaken by its nature. The infection will turn all types of living creature into their army. The screamiac race only knows and prays the corruption and has the biggest number of troops due to their ability to infect and control a dead body without the need of a soul. A race more like monsters working on instinct. They are the most terrifying race in the Horde of Corruption. Military ranking system. Loyalty is not a question for the screamiac race. Having no soul bound to their body, the only way for them to climb the military ranking system in the Horde is to gain experience with their class and jobs or contribute to the war effort. Specialization and weaknesses. Often used to gather resources for a long period of time or defend base without supplies, the screamiac race doesn't sleep or have a need to rest. With the best naval ship in the Horde and having invaded thousands of territories by water, they have earned the nickname Creeper Screamer by their enemy for using tactics like massive naval invasion and silently invading town during nighttime. Making a lot of noise is a bad thing at war, they say. I say they can sometimes hear us 100 miles away, but sometimes we are a inch away and they still don't hear our sword in their guts. Kalomi. Armors and weapon type. Originally a Terran, the warlord Kalomi demanded that the screamiac race would keep on following the human tech tree, with the exception of changing and upgraded to favor the gods of corruption. They built their leather and armor and weapon in a stylish way to represent their faction, but by also keeping a small Terran essence. Specialists in killing with any one-handed weapon like corruption sword, pistol, SMGs, and shotgun. There are also masters with explosive items like grenade and rocket launchers. I hope you liked the video. This was not a quick overview, it was more an in-depth overview of all the race plus the faction. We did it more long than the other one for the Alliance of Light, but no worry, I will redeem myself pretty soon with something special for them. Alright, so that was all, and we just announced a lot of things onto the website. Go check it out, it's constantly evolving and I'm working on it pretty much every day. So that's it, I'm gonna keep you informed. Pretty soon this is the end of our first crowdfunding campaign, but no worry, we will still have another crowdfunding campaign before the launch of our first book series. Alright, so this is Brazz, talk to you all very soon, signing out. Don't forget to join our Discord.